Welcome to the Cyber Incident Response Management event by Cyber Week, joined with Cytactic. Such an honor to have you all with us today. We're going to have a great program, but we have only one KPI for today. Only one KPI. Tim Brown, who is here with us, the most celebrated CISO in the world. Raise your hand, Tim Brown. First of all, everybody with me, congratulate Tim Brown. 5 years after the Sunburst attack, finally the SEC realized it was a ridiculous accusation. There was no basis for taking him to court for 5 years and full actually dismissal of the case. And Tim Brown finally got his life back. So congratulations, Tim Brown. But my KPI for today, I will have a live crisis simulation with Tim Brown as the CISO. My only challenge is to have a cyber crisis that Tim Brown manages without him getting a heart attack. That's the only challenge. All the rest is the bonus for today. Let's get started. Let's say, what is cyber incident response management? Actually, what is this new category in security that was just announced by Gartner a few months back, and why it's actually taking the cyber industry by storm? Why do we see more and more companies actually looking for cyber incident response solutions? Why do we see more and more analysts saying actually that was the missing piece in cybersecurity? And as an opening for all our session today, I want to share a little bit about what is cyber incident response management, what do we see in the horizon in this domain, and then we'll go live on stage with Tim Brown and with Rubi Aronashvili, who is the CEO of Cy, and we'll play a real incident as it unfolded to a client. But this time, we'll have all of you to participate and hopefully make it a very successful experience for our clients. So, my name is Nimrod Kozlovsky. Such an honor to host you today. By training, I'm a professor of computer science and law trained at Tel Aviv University in Oxford. But for the last few years, actually, I'm the founder and the CEO of Cytactic. You see here my team, my incredible team. I couldn't be happier and more proud than having this team to actually join the company with me. But let's explain a little bit about the background. What is cyber incident response management? Let me take you a few years back. I was still a crisis coordinator. My role was to get a call. Normally when a large institution got hit, they had a breach, and I would have realized it's not only a technical breach, it's not only requires some kind of a good technical folks, it actually requires management attention. So imagine some of the stories that I had in my life. One of the largest hospitals actually realized that not only they are extorted by a threat actor, but some of the data integrity is affected. Imagine that now you are the CEO of this hospital, the manager of the hospital, and you might have actually patients in bed or in the surgery room now, under operations, but the data integrity is affected. Would you keep operating? Would you keep running actually surgeries? Would you keep actually treating your patients as normal before you can scope this incident and understand what cyber incidents you have? But would you take the other direction? Would you notify actually your patients that you're under cyber attack? Would you create the panic with the press, with your partners? That's a big dilemma. I was invited to the room for one of the largest actually financial institutions in the world when they've realized actually that someone got hacked into their transactive system and wiring fraudulent transactions. They understand it's becoming in the millions. And now you have a big dilemma. I understand there's a fraudster. I have not yet scoped it and investigated it, and I need to understand, how do I keep operating my financial institution? Do I actually have some compensation control, some alternative processes, or would I keep operating during this incident? I was invited when one of actually the largest SaaS companies in the world operates with thousands of clients, have their log analyzers installed on the cloud with thousands of clients, understand that someone actually broke into their GitHub and corrupted their code. By the way, code for all of you who are familiar with this incident. They realized that their source code is corrupted. And they understand now that they're operating with thousands of organizations around the world why they don't have control anymore, understanding what their code is doing. You might actually be the largest supply chain breach, software supply chain breach in the world. How do you manage it? And again, I was brought to the room. Hopefully, they thought I'll be the bridge between the technology and the business, and I'll be able to steer the management of how to manage it. But what I saw was shocking to me. In the largest organizations in the world, sometimes spending tens of millions of dollars on security.
What?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a briefing?
Yeah! Again and again, I saw it, that I'm coming actually for the largest organizations. They might have had tens of millions of dollars of investment in cybersecurity, but when they got breached, I saw the same dynamic. They start actually calling consultants. They're calling forensic, IR team, mitigation, threat intel, darknet intel, a negotiator if you have to negotiate a crisis, a cyber lawyer, cyber communication expert, business continuity expert. I've been to incidents that you had 20, 30 consultants, all smart and knowledgeable, but it's actually the first time they work together. They don't know each other. They don't have a process to follow how to coordinate. They don't know the company or the business processes the company operate, or the procedures for cyber incident response management in the company. But now, in real time, they need to work together. They need to establish a protocol. How do I set situational understanding? How do I coordinate, collaborate? How do I manage the incidents? And I've realized again and again, it's a chaos. Quite often, this chaos led to a lot of the impact of the incidents. So that's the dynamic I saw again and again. I saw a chaos. I saw companies bringing consultants and paper and realizing that's not a way to manage a crisis. And damages are intensifying, unnecessary business interruption, wrong disclosures which lead to lawsuit, class action, churn of business. And we've asked actually experts around the world, how do you feel about it? Numbers were shocking with the report. Apparently 70% of the CISOs around the world, it was 640 CISOs interviewed, they said they believe the internal misalignment caused more damage than the hackers themselves. They believe that actually they never rehearsed for the incident they had. They believe that technology could have helped them to better take decisions, to better manage the crisis. And also they understand that the fact that the senior leadership were not ready for the incident delayed critical response. So that's the dynamic we have with most organizations. They depend on PDF, a format invented 40 years ago, a static format to manage the incident. It's a static format that does not change as the crisis unfolds. They depend on outdated plans that are never rehearsed or never tested. They believe that something would happen, that they'll be able to coordinate and collaborate, but actually they've never tested how all these team members would coordinate and collaborate. And they also believe that processes which are static will be able to act properly in our current dynamic when we have agentic attacks powered by AI. When our attacks are no longer 270 days on average, but 3 weeks on average. They believe that actually humans with paper procedures will be able to respond. I'm asking Toronto a few years back, do you really believe that cutting trees and printing paper and coming with consultants in paper, that's the way to respond to the most actually sophisticated cyber incidents around the world? The answer is definitely no. So we see a new category. Hey, Rubi. We see a new category coming. It's called cyber incident response management. That's a new category recognized by Gartner, saying, we understand that actually response should be an enterprise-wide solution, bringing all stakeholders together. We believe that no longer playbook should be static, but it should be a dynamic system that updates according to the way that crisis unfolds. We believe that readiness should be done on technology. The way to build your response plan, the way to test them should be done with technology. We believe that all the teams should be orchestrated, so to communicate, collaborate, and coordinate on the same platform. And last, we believe that AI has a power to play in how you take decisions, how you do reporting, how you make critical processes during a crisis. So this new category of cyber incident response management was formally announced by Gartner a few months back. Since the time it was announced, we see more and more of the large organizations shifting from actually paper consultant base into technology. We have Bill Hogan with us, the new CRO, and by the way, great win for the company, bringing such a leader as our CRO. He told me something day one in the company. He said, once you see Cytactic technology, you cannot unsee it. And I thought it's brilliant, because when organizations for the first time realize what does it mean to get ready to rehearse and manage a crisis with technology, as you'll see in a few minutes, they cannot imagine again a world that they'll come back to pen and paper. I don't want to go too much into details, and you'll see it in the simulation, but this category gradually become something which is more mature. We do have some competitors around the world, great category to evolve, both in what you expect from CRM in preparedness, how do you use it in simulations and trainings, and how it should operate during crisis, because it should be in all actually stages of the readiness, simulation, and crisis. In preparedness, you should be able to build your customized playbooks according to a threat model. You should be able to actually comply with regulatory standards, onboard your panel of experts. You should be able actually to upload your own processes that will be operational. You need to be able to train and simulate, but more important, to assess your maturity pre-crisis, to see how your people, procedures, and platforms would operate in practice. And last, during crisis, as you'll see in a second during our incident, you need to have a platform to enable you to communicate and coordinate among all stakeholders according to a plan, which is dynamic and change as the crisis unfolds, embedded with the expertise that you need during the crisis, from crisis management, legal, PR, all this expertise on top of it, enabling AI tools in order to generate reporting and metrics, and all of this need to be something dynamically changing as the crisis unfolds. You'll see it in action in a second. So the reality that we imagine to come is that. If you've seen the chaos, and by the way, great animator, Jonathan Waxman did these animations. If we started with the chaos of consultants with paper and chaos around the room, we believe that actually you can get ready before the incidents and create clarity during an incident. You can actually have people knowing the process, can control the incidents, and can follow the optimal path in order to mitigate the impact. So in your tech stack, soon enough you'll have a cyber incident response management platform. Hopefully it will be Cytactic, but it might be one of our good competitors. But it will be an essential part of your toolkit. You will not be able to imagine anymore that you've drafted paper static playbooks and you've used consultants. You would go to technology as should be.